name is Alex, and this is Travel TitBits 28, and I'm back here at Barnstaple to interview Tim Steer of the Tarka Rail Association. So let's jump right in.
Hello Tim, welcome to the channel. So would you like to tell us a little bit about the Tarka Rail Association?
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. So I'm Tim Steer from the Tarka Rail Association. I'm the campaign lead for the ACE Rail project. That's the Atlantic Coast to Exeter Railway. So we're looking at not just only extending the line to Bideford, but to also upgrade it for a faster service to Exeter.
Okay, well I think the first question I'd like to ask you is, as we're based at Barnstaple, over the last couple of years there's been some interesting developments in terms of infrastructure and change of trains. Perhaps you'd like to tell us a little bit about what's been happening and what might happen in the next few years.
Sure. Well, at the moment we've got the 158s, which are much better units, much more comfortable, with air conditioning, quieter. We're hopefully going to see double track being, not double track, shall I say, continuous track, I meant to say, from all the way from Chapelton down to Barnstaple, so won't get any more of the clickety-clack noises, which means then we can upgrade the speed and performance of the 158s. As well as that, signalling works will hopefully be completed as well, so hopefully by some point next year onwards we can have a faster service.
Oh wow, so there's always been a little bit of talk about opening up Platform 2 and maybe Platform 3 here at Barnstaple. What do you think the chances of us seeing that?
Well, we absolutely want to push to see Platform 2 reinstated. There's many uses to have such good infrastructure there. Number of reasons would be, one, a place to tow a broken down unit to, so that it can be tended to and open up the track again, because at this point there is nothing this side of North Devon and Mid Devon that they can tow any units to. The other thing, have earlier services, so we can have them stabled overnight, so that you can stay here and then catch your earlier train. That could also benefit going to places like London, so that you can have that option. The other thing was to have chartered trains, so that a special train could come from places like Birmingham or London and come down this part of the country to have a day trip out, stable the train during the daytime over on Platform 2, so that the customers and passengers can have a day out in and around northern Devon, and then get on the train and go back up to their part of the country.
Well, that will certainly make a big difference. Of course, one of the reasons that you're a campaigner, of course, is to get a service back to Bideford, and one of the challenges around this, of course, is slightly connected with climate change and rises of sea level, which is obviously the old route to Bideford. But there's a chance, isn't there, of combining a solution for those two problems, isn't there, that might benefit this campaign that you've got going?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's on the table at the moment, and we've got consultants working on the new route and proposals. If we were to have the old route back, that would mean we'd have to move the existing Tarka Trail active travel system. That would take an extra few years to have a newer system for them, so we can have it. But the old track bed was only made to a realistic speed of 40 to 45 miles per hour. So in modern terms, we need to find a better modern new route. That might mean to go inland at some point. The other thing you were saying about coastal erosion, about what could happen in the future, yes, just like the Dawlish Wall idea, would we have to have a raised profile new track? That could be a question. And the other thing is, next year the Environment Agency are preparing a flood and coastal erosion report of the area, which will see where they suggest might have future problems where we'd have to either think about resilience or in fact just move inland, and of course then we'd just leave the Tarka Trail alone. The other idea that we have at the moment, because we've seen the Granite Way with the Oakhampton train service, and we've also seen it with the X-Trail and the Avocet line, both systems can coexist, so you can have active travel and rail service. That would be very much what companies like Sustrans would want to happen with the service, and that might be what we'd see from here to Fremington. However, we don't know what from Fremington onwards would look like at the moment.
Perhaps one solution which is less complicated, but obviously would be a little bit more expensive, might be just to build an 8-mile tunnel all the way to Bideford. Do you think that is got any legs?
Let's just say if they carry on building housing at the moment like they are, and it's rapidly happening in places like Torstock, which is just over the hill here, and also at Fremington, and we are not going to have many places and choices left to put the new route. What would that mean? Would that mean a new SkyTrain, or would that mean a tunnel? Who knows? But this will be something that in the consultant's report he would look into. We've done it before with the Channel Tunnel all the way down, to France. There might be possibilities for something like that. But personally, I would say it would be nicer if we can just find a new open route, so that we can then have communities served along the way as well.
Yes, it's interesting you raise that, because population centres and accessibility is obviously key, isn't it, if you're going to persuade people out of their cars? Perhaps you could talk a bit about that.
Yes, at the moment we know that people of Torridge are the largest by far population without a rail service, and also one of the most deprived. So Greater Bideford, we've got over 31,000 residents there. They are dependent on the private vehicle usage, and a lot of those residents are choosing to actually not even drive to Barnstaple to connect, but they are choosing to drive on to places like Tiverton, where there's a parkway. So we have been discussing with this that there should be a new parkway at Bideford, so that people of the surrounding hinterlands and even the districts of like North Cornwall can go to, so that they can then get onto the rail network with the car being parked up, so that they can safely drive home. And that would also mean we can look at, with Great Western Railway, having a new connecting bus services to help these communities. But again, we are traffic. We can't get around that problem. Going into Barnstaple at the moment is a real issue. People of Bideford are suggesting that they don't even like going towards Barnstaple with its traffic congestion. And if that's a real case, then we have to have a better system that's extended to Torridge into Bideford and can help out this issue.
Now, something very interesting happened the other day. I went up to Torrington rail station, which of course has a group of enthusiasts, and they recently had delivered a former Great Western Pacer train, which looks magnificent in the station, and it's even got Barnstaple on the header board. It's looking eager to make a journey. What do you think the chances of if we can get to Bideford? Could we get to the population of Torrington? Do you think they have reasonable chances there?
Okay, well, the first thing we've got to understand, that's an heritage railway site. And with Bideford, even though it has got a Bideford Railway Heritage Centre, there's no way at this present time we are suggesting that the railway's trying to get back to the old heritage railway site. Torrington is got to look at its population. At the moment, Bideford is over 31,000, the largest in the southwest peninsula cut off by railway. Torrington is roughly 6,000 residents. If they were to carry on and get the housing up towards what Bideford is, then they will get in on, shall we say, they will warrant a railway service. But at the moment, you've got to understand it's about the 5-year land supply. If an area like Bideford has been fulfilling that obligation by central government, then they are serious contenders. However, there's not much industry over in Torrington. The industry at the moment is towards places like Bideford's Harland and Wolff, and with its port and quay, shall we say, we got to kind of understand where the nearest station would be. But that doesn't mean we're not going to stop with thinking about Torrington. They are also going to have, hopefully, connecting bus services going to places like Umberley or, in fact, to Bideford, where they can actually have better services for the residents and the community. So Great Western Railway is looking into this with us.
Always good to know that there are possibilities going forward. I think the last question I wanted to ask you is about train travel generally in Devon. Of course, there's been a lot of work on the Dawlish seawall to give them resilience. There's a very good opportunity for Tavistock to come back onto the rail network. We've had recently the first anniversary of the reopening of the Oakhampton line, and of course they've been delighted to tell us how many passengers have returned to their line. I think it was over 650,000 people, a magnificent number to tout.
What for Oakhampton? Oh, it was 250,000 plus. Yeah, which is absolutely phenomenal. That is what we need to see. It's a growing rail-mindedness for the passengers and for the communities. They're preferring to use sustainable public transport over private vehicles, which is what we need for North Devon. At the moment, North Devon's not getting anywhere near that number with its passengers. So the whole Tarka line at the moment, for the whole year, is looking at around about 650,000 passengers. That sounds a large number, but really we should be producing 3 times that. So we're looking at nearly 2 million passengers to make it viable, and the fact that it should be growing. So at the moment we're looking at reasons why people on this line are not using it as much, even though we've got plenty of stations. So the fact is, from North Devon you've got from here all the way to Mid Devon with stations, and then from onwards Mid Devon there are some more Tarka line stations, 7 in fact. However, there's an 8th station in Mid Devon called Tiverton Parkway, and that one's still being used more by people of North Devon and Torridge and North Cornwall. So we need to kind of change tactic on this line with Great Western Railway and make this a faster service to make it grow.
And one of the keys to that, isn't it, is developing the concept of principal stations that would be used by a much faster service.
That's very true, yes. So it's to serve the large catchment areas. So if we were at the moment to look at the existing line, we can then look at where the area's transport hubs are and where its surrounding communities that its passengers go to. So if we were to extend it to Bideford, the whole area would be massive. The catchment area would be the whole of Torridge and North Cornwall. And then if we move inland, we would want a station at Fremington so that it serves the 12,000 plus residents up there. And then Barnstaple with the whole of North Devon, that catchment. And then we move in, we want to go to Umberley. Now Umberley's an interesting one because it's the catchment area of South Molton, Great Torrington, and even at the moment present it's Bideford residents who don't want to get caught up in congestion for Barnstaple. And from there we go on to Eggersford, and Eggersford is a catchment area for Chorley, Chumley and Wenworthy. Chumley's actually got an agriculture college, so that one it would be a perfect one for students. And for our service then we will want to go on to Copplestone, Copplestone is our growing new parkway for mid-Devon. For GWR, that would be ideal for places like North Taunton and the surrounding hinterlands of Copplestone. Then we'll go on to Crediton, because it's a phenomenally well-used station and we want that to grow, and then on to Exeter. So that was what we would like our fast service to look like. With GWR, we can see from Bideford to Exeter, saying with those stops that I said, we can get there in 1 hour.
So yeah, I mean, so that would make this part of Devon almost having like a metro feel about it.
Absolutely. This is the other thing. We are part of the growing metro at the moment with Devon County Council. However, to be a contender for Bideford to be added to the metro system, we have to show a business case first. And this is what we have done. We've got the funding together. We'll hopefully show with our business case, which is coming out in March 2023, that the Tarka line does need an upgrade and it does need to be extended to Bideford to serve these catchments, and that will then be added to the metro.
So that's really the next step then, isn't it? Is this business case, and then when enough people are convinced it's right, then presumably that brings forward the day when we will see changes.
Absolutely, yes. So don't think it might happen tomorrow, because we understand things like political or should we say anything to do with the powers that be at the moment would suggest we can't just put a new railway in, but we're trying to make sure we get it ready for when they say the new set of Restoring Your Railway bids are coming. And just like Oakhampton, who got their business case together, they got it ready, and when the Restoring Railway bids were out, they were first in line. We want to see the same thing for this part of the country now, for these districts, and we've got a very big chance of showing that we can be ready for this by having the business case ready.
Well, that's fantastic, and it's I'd just like to thank you for spending the time with me this morning. Yeah, absolutely fantastic, and really appreciate your time.
Okay,
thank you very much, Tim.
Okay.
My grateful thanks to Tim for spending time with us today. And just to wrap up, here are some short views of the railway station. To find out more information about the Tarka Rail Association, Barnstaple in Bloom, and other interesting links, please check out the description of this video.